if you're like me and you order a cheaper end Tele like this Squier Sonic, and probably also Squier Affinity and Fender Standard made in Indonesia, any of the pickups that say ceramic on the spec sheets, then you're going to get a pickup that is designed a little something like this. It's the stock pickup for that Tele. So these pieces you see here are essentially screws. If you look at them very carefully, they have a interesting looking bullseye kind of pattern on the front. They're steel. And then on the bottom, you can see you do have a metal base plate, like a Tele bridge pickup should, and then you have two bar magnets on either side of the screws. Now, I wasn't aware of this until I got a Tele for the first time, and saw this. This is how a P90 is made. A P90 is a really interesting pickup because it's a single coil with two magnets, but a PAF is a dual coil with one magnet. Anyways, this is basically how a P90 is made, but it's not how the original Tele pickups were made. I bring that up to say that this is the neck pickup, by the way. Same deal with a metal cover. To say that this isn't necessarily wrong, but it's not vintage accurate. So, vintage accurate for Fender pickups is that you do not have these on the bottom. These would not be steel screws, they would be actual Alnico pull pieces. That's the way that it's been made for a while. Now, Fender, like a lot of companies, used different grades of Alnico depending on what was available at the time. And they've been known to use different stuff through the years. If you track it, you could probably see Alnico 2, 3, 4, 5, so on and so forth. Today, if you were to go purchase a set of pickups that's labeled nocaster, which would be the time period when Fender put out the Tele, it was called the Broadcaster. They couldn't use that name anymore. They had to take the name off the headstock. So for a little while, it had no name. It was called the nocaster. So the Fender pickups called the nocaster are using Alnico 3. So is the very interesting brand called Throwback pickups that are using Alnico 3. What Throwback is doing is interesting, in my opinion, because they want to be as vintage accurate as possible. And I respect that. I get it. I think it's cool to make a pickup that seems exactly as though it was made back then. But I think a lot of the detail that they're taking is going to have no impact on the tone. That's important to note. I think when it comes to the tone of these things, you're going to want to have the right gauge wire, the right number of winds, the right coil height and width and all that, and the right magnet, right? So I think as long as you have that stuff, you're probably going to get the tone correct. This is my experience. Tell me if I'm wrong. Tell me what you've experienced. But I find that when the pole pieces are the actual magnets, so that's Alnico rods, and they're pointed right at the strings, you get a certain kind of detail in the tone that you do not get from a steel slug with a magnet on the bottom. I bring that up to say that, like I said, this is not wrong. This is just a different design, and it's going to give you a different kind of tone. I find it to be a little less trebly, a little bit more mid-forward, which is perfect for some people. As a matter of fact, the brand that we're going to talk about today, 916 Pickups, makes some really cool P90 Telecaster pickups that he does with a rail. And I think having the rail is a cool change from something like this. And these are ceramic magnets. That's not going to be correct and sound like what you expect from a Tele anyways. It's not bad. Like, don't get me wrong, this isn't bad. But if you could get something that had Alnico bar magnets, you're getting a little bit closer. If you can get something with Alnico rod magnets, you're even closer. So I hope you can see the stamp there where it says 916 on the pickup. So these are the Alnico 3 Telecaster. It's a pretty low wind, and it's Alnico 3, which is going to be weaker magnetic pull. But these have a certain kind of clarity and detail that's ridiculous. And I wasn't so sure how I would feel about a true single coil until I tried these, and it's fantastic. I was also concerned about noise, but I don't play with that kind of like high gain metal distortion anymore. And also the middle position is one of my favorites tonally, because it's a balance of the warmth here and the twang here, and it cancels hum. So it's pretty cool how that ended up working out. As you'll see in some of my examples, neck only and bridge only sound amazing as well. Now, if you're interested in some 916 pickups like this, you'd want to contact Matt and ask what types he has as far as magnet-wise at any given time. I know Alnico 3 is a new thing, and it's really cool for the vintage type stuff, but Alnico 5 give you a little bit more power. Alnico 2 is really cool. He said that in his own personal Tele, put the Alnico 2 P90 style, which sounds really cool to me. I already know, and if you've ever listened to a P90, 2 magnets, hotter wind, just is a totally different vibe. It's completely different. And if that's the sort of thing that you're looking for, dropping that into a Tele would give you that like pop punk, raw, gritty, like in your face distortion thing, and a guitar that you wouldn't expect it from. So that's pretty cool. This Tele, after these pickups installed, a setup by a professional, and some locking tuning keys, became my main guitar. I only have one backup. These are all basses. So I only have one backup guitar. And I picked this up on a whim, thinking, let's try something different. Matt said that he needed somebody to try the Tele pickups, so I was like, okay, cool. I'm going to get an actual single coil Tele so I can test these out, and this is incredible. So it's pretty interesting when you can make something this cheap and supposedly, you would think, not good, but it just needs some work. A good luthier and a good set of pickups will make something incredible, no matter how much it costs straight from the factory. That's just always something to bear in mind. Unless it has actual like problematic flaws or is a lemon, you should be able to get some great use out of an instrument.